thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am going to show you how to crochet this beautiful beanie, which I'm calling it the moss beanie, and this will be my official first ever written pattern that I am going to be releasing for the general public to purchase. So this is the correspondent video to that pattern. I will have all the links down below in the description for where to find the pattern and all of that, and I will tell you more details later on. This beanie features 4 sizes from newborn, child, small adult to large adult, and it's using worsted weight category 4 yarn if you're in America or any other countries. In Australia it is considered 12 ply Australian. However, sometimes some 10 ply yarns also have the same thickness, so just try to gauge it. I have all the details that you need to get started on the PDF pattern. You can have a look at that, and let's get started. Okay, for this project you will need some 12 ply yarn. If you live in Australia, 12 ply is equal to category 4. Some 10 ply is actually thick enough to be considered category 4, but in this range, 4 seasons, I had to get the 12 ply yarn. The 10 ply was a little bit too thin, and the color is white, and I'm also using the color rose, which is this beautiful pink color. You can obviously do this with one color if you prefer. I just like the look of using 2 colors. You also need a 5mm crochet hook, a snipper or a scissors, 1 stitch marker, a darning needle, and your measuring tape, because we have some measuring to do for the project. On my PDF pattern I have 4 sizes from newborn to adult large. In this tutorial I am going to do the newborn size just to save on time, but you can obviously refer to my website. I will provide the link down below to get the full pattern. Alright, I'm going to begin with a magic ring. If you don't want to do that, then you can chain 4 and slip stitch to connect. To do a magic ring, you're going to wrap your yarn like this around your finger, you hook through and pull it out like that and hold it, and you're going to make a chain 1 to secure it. Now in the pattern it says what lengths and everything that you need to do for each size. I'm going to do the newborn size today, which is going to be 13 to 14 inches in circumference and 5.5 inches tall, and it should fit from size 0 to 6 months in age. To make the crown, we're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic ring. So to make a single crochet, you're going to pull up a loop and yarn over and pull through both. So that's our first single crochet. Since we're working this in a continuous round, this is where you will need your stitch marker to mark your first stitch, otherwise it will be harder to count later on. So we have 1 single crochet, and we're going to make 5 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can close your magic loop There is no joining, so we're just going to jump on to round 2. In the round 2, we are going to make 2 single crochets into the first stitch. Like that, and don't forget to put your marker on the first stitch that you made. And then we're going to continue making 2 single crochets in each stitch until we come up to the marker, just before the marker. So we're going to pull up a loop and pull through both loops, and we're going to do that again into the same stitch. This will bring our stitch count to 12 because we are doubling in, we're increasing in each stitch. It's always good practice to finish a round and count your stitches back, because that'll ensure that you are on the correct path, rather than realizing it later and you'll have to frock the whole thing. I always like to, even though I've done this for a long time, I still like to make as little mistakes as possible and go back and count all my stitches. So we're here at the last stitch, and I've just put 2 single crochets to round 3. In this round, you're going to put a single crochet in the first stitch and put the marker, and then you're going to place 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. So this will be your sequence. So we're going to follow the sequence of putting 1 single crochet and then an increase, 1 single crochet and then an increase. So we're going to put 1 single crochet, and then we're going to put 2 to increase in the next stitch. This should bring our stitch count to 18. Let me finish the round and I'll meet you. So we're at the end of the round. If you did it correctly, you should have 18 stitches all around, and you should be ending with 2 single crochets. Okay, for round 4, we're going to put a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next 2. Don't forget to place your marker on the first stitch, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next 1 and 2. Again, we're going to put 1 single crochet in 2 stitches, and then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the following. You can follow that sequence of 1 single crochet in the next 2 and 2 single crochets to increase in the next. Follow that pattern until the last available chain. Okay, once you finish that round, you should have ended with 2 single crochets in the last stitch, and you should have 24 stitches all around. Now we're going to continue to round 5. We're going to put a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Don't forget to put your marker. So that was 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put an increase. So 2 single crochets in the next one, and then follow along with 1, 2 and 3 single crochets, and then an increase. continue that all around. You should be ending with 2 single crochets in the last stitch, and your stitch count should be 30. Moving along, we're up to round 6 now, so we're going to put single crochets in the next 4 stitches for this round. We're on the round 6. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to increase in the 5th stitch by putting 2 single crochets. Just like that. We're going to continue that sequence of 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and in the 5th one you're going to increase all the way around. Okay, I just finished my round 6. So you should have 36 stitches all around, and then we're going to move on to round 7, which is 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches and an increase. So we'll do 1 and place the marker, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do an increase. So 2 single crochets in that stitch. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in 5 stitches and 2 single crochets in the 6th one. Your stitch count should be 42. Okay, so I've just completed the round 7. My stitch count is 42. We're going to move on to round 8. So in round 8, we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and then we're going to increase. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to do an increase by putting 2 single crochets into the 7th stitch. We're going to continue single crochet in the next 6 stitches and then increase all throughout, and we'll meet you again. Okay, I've just finished my round 8 and I have counted 48 stitches all around. Now round 9 is going to be the last increase round for the newborn size. So what we're going to do is single crochet in the next 7 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to do an increase on the 8th stitch. So 2 single crochets right into that 8th stitch. We're going to repeat this sequence of single crochets in 7 stitches and an increase in the 8th stitch all around for the count of 54 stitches, and that will be the last increase round for the newborn size. Okay, so I've just completed round 9 of the crown of the hat for the newborn size. We are going to take our measuring tape and see how big it is. It should be about 4.5 inches. We are about 4.5 inches. When you're measuring, don't measure the points. Just measure the flat parts like this. So we're right at the 4.5 inch diameter for the newborn size. Now we can move on increasing, and we can stop increasing and move on to the body of the hat. So for the body of the hat, we're also going to complete in continuous rounds, but this is where your secondary color comes in handy. For the round one of the body of the hat, we're gonna need to do a little bit of setup, which is going to be the round one. So we're going to single crochet in our next stitch, which is the first stitch. So we're going to single crochet and put our marker back in, and we're going to chain one and skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next stitch, just like that. So we're going to chain one, skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next one. We're going to repeat this sequence all around. We're going to chain one, skip a chain and a single crochet in the next stitch all around, and I'll meet you when we are at the end. Okay, I'm at the very end of my round and I have 3 stitches remaining. So in the pattern it says you had to end with a single crochet. So I've already done a chain one here, and I'm going to skip this chain and I'm going to single crochet into this chain. So that's my single crochet, and then it says to chain one and skip the last stitch, and you're going to slip stitch to the first stitch of the beginning of the round. Now don't tighten this slip stitch, because this slip stitch becomes your first single crochet. So we're going to place the marker right there, and always remembering that there is a chain one right here. If you are going to forget that, you can put a different color stitch marker right into the space right there, so you can remember it later on that the space is your last stitch of the round. So if you're changing color, this is the right time to change color. Now you could change the color with the slip stitch, that way it is a bit more nicer when you go around. And the pattern says to change color for the next round here if you're using 2 colors. So we're gonna go back a step and take out the slip stitch, and I'm going to put my hook back through and finish the slip stitch with my new color. Just like that, and then you can tighten these two. You can even put a little knot if you want to keep it secure. And now we're going to continue with the white. We are not going to cut the pink yarn because we will use it in the next round. I do give all the stitch counts. So because I'm doing the newborn size, my stitch count will remain at 54 throughout the whole body of the hat, which is going to be in moss stitch. So we're going to move to round 2, which is going to be a single crochet in the chain space. So go through the chain space. It is clearly visible. It has a big hole right there. So you're going to go directly into it, pull up a loop and finish your single crochet. And then you're going to chain 1 and skip this single crochet from the previous round. And you're going to put a single crochet into the next available space. Just like that. And then you're going to chain 1 again and skip the next single crochet and put a single crochet right into the next available space. So we're going to continue that sequence all around, and you should be ending with a single crochet in the last chain space of the row before. So that's where we had this different color marker. So that should be your last stitch. So you should end with a single crochet in the last chain space. If you don't, that just means you made a mistake somewhere, and you can go back and check where that was. So I will continue my round and see you in a bit. Okay, I just finished my second round of the moss stitch and ended with a single crochet in the last space that we marked previously. Just like that. And then I did count, and I have 54 stitches, including the slip stitch right here. And then for the next round, which is the round 3, we're going to change back to the main color if applicable. If you're just continuing with one color, then that doesn't matter. So we're going to chain 1 in the new color. So I'm going to undo this a little bit, and I'm going to finish my last single crochet in the pink. That way it'll look nicer, and we can see that our last single crochet was in white, and our new chain 1 is going to be in the main color, and that is going to be the new beginning of round. So we're going to chain 1 and put our stitch marker, change it over to that stitch right there, which is going to be a chain space. And then we're going to skip the single crochet right here, and we're going to find the next space, the next chain 1 space, and we're going to put a single crochet right in there. Now I'm going to catch this tail as well, so I don't have to do a lot of weaving at the ends, but we're just going to put another single crochet just like that. And this chain space is going to be the new beginning of round. So we're going to chain 1 and skip the next single crochet and move on to the chain space. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1 and single crochet in the next chain space. It becomes easier as there is 2 colors now, and you can clearly see where to put your stitches in, so which makes it really easy, as you can see. So chain 1 and skip the next single crochet and single crochet in the chain space, and chain 1 again, and skip the next single crochet and single crochet in the next space. I'm going to continue this and I will be back at the end of the round. Okay, I've just finished my round 2 with the moss stitch. So round 4 and onwards, we're going to continue our moss stitch until the measurements match your size. Now, for the newborn size, it should be 4 inches from crown to edge. So that's the crown. So you're going to measure from the crown all the way to this edge, which should be 4 centimeters. And then we will be moving on to the ribbed brim, which is going to be a join as you go round. So continue your moss stitch in continuous rounds, and when we're done with that part, we will come back to do the ribbed brim together. Always keep an eye for your stitch count. For newborn size, it should always be 54 stitches, which includes your chain 1s and the single crochet. So always count the chain 1s and the single crochet into that 54. Okay, so I've reached my length of 4 inches, and I just want to show you. So we're measuring from the top of the crown right there, and I have already reached my 4-inch mark. Right there. So now I just want to show you how to end this round a little bit. What we are going to do is, the pattern says, so we're going to stop the moss stitch continuation 3 stitches before. So we're going to stop it right here. I ended with a single crochet, and we're going to end this round with a single crochet in the next stitch. And I'm gonna put 2 slip stitches to taper this down because it was going on a continuous round. If it's hard for you to get into the stitch, you can go into the space. We're going to put a slip stitch in there and another slip stitch right there. And you can connect it to the next space like that and tighten your slip stitch. But since I am changing my color back to the pink, if you're doing it in a solid color, that's what you would do, but I am changing back to my actually, we're going to put 1 slip stitch here into the space, and we're going to do the second slip stitch to connect. So that will make it 2 slip stitches and a single crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook like that, and I'm going to grab the pink, which is my color that I'm going to continue with, and I'm going to complete the slip stitch with that one. And then we can move on to the our ribbed brim, which is a join as you go round. So to begin that, we're going to continue with single crochet. So the size of the brim is very adjustable. I have explained in the PDF pattern how you can go about doing it. For this particular video, I'm doing the standard 2-inch brim, which would be a fold over brim. So you will have to crochet the whole length and then fold it over at the end. If you don't want a fold over brim, then you don't have to chain as much. You can just make it shorter. It's totally personal preference. I do like a thicker fold over brim for beanies because it provides more warmth around the ears, but that is totally up to you. What I'm going to do is chain 15 for a 2-inch brim that's going to be folded over. So 1, 2, 3. At this point, you can actually fasten off the accent color. I'm gonna leave a long tail to weave in at the end and cut it and put that color away. 5. I will chain 15 and be right back. What we're going to do is after chaining 15, you are going to start in the second stitch from the hook. So not the one on the hook, not the first one, the second one. But to keep things easy for later when you join the two edges, we are going to turn it back and find the back bumps, which are these little bumps that you can see. These are the two standard stitches that we would usually go into, the bottom one and the top one. But what we are going to do is to keep things easy for later on, we're going to turn this around and find the second little bump, which is right here. We're going to go right into it. We're going to skip the first bump. We're going to go into the second bump and place our first single crochet. So yarn over, pull it through. You should have 2 loops on your hook and pull through both. Just like that, we're going to do a single crochet in each of the back bumps. So you should end up with 14. Now, if you think you're gonna forget where your 14th stitch might be, you can totally put a stitch marker right here. That way you don't have to count each time and it'll be right there. So we're gonna continue on putting single crochets on the back bump of each chain all the way up to the 14th one right at the bottom. Okay, so as you can see, I've gone all the way back down and I have 14 stitches right here. Make sure you count. You're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, not the one that you have your stitch coming up from. So if you look up here, you can see this stitch is where our pink is coming up from. So we're going to slip stitch into this one and the one after. So we're going to slip stitch into the next chain, or next stitch rather, is to anchor this down, and we're going to slip stitch into the following one to begin the next round. So that's why we are slip stitching twice. You're going to turn this way, so it is the easiest way. So you're right here. If you turn clockwise, you will have your hook where you need it to be and your yarn where it needs to be. If you turn it the other way around, it's gonna be a bit of a mess. So always remember to turn this way, turn clockwise, so you can have it in the correct orientation. Now for the row 2, you have the slip stitches right here. You're gonna skip right over those 2 and you're going to single crochet in the back loop only. So like I explained before, this is the front loop and that is the back loop. Usually we would go under both loops, but this time to create the ribbed effect, we're going to go only through the back loop. So we're going to skip the slip stitches. We're going to go through the back loop of our first stitch, and we're going to pull a loop up and do a single crochet just like that. Now again, if you have struggle finding your stitches, make sure you mark that first stitch, because with slip stitches it might be a little bit difficult for a beginner to find their stitch. So you don't have to count it each time if you use a couple of stitch markers. Even as a advanced crocheter, I always tend to put stitch markers if I am unsure. So we're going to continue single crochet in the back loop just like that for 14 stitches, and I will show you what that looks like in a moment. Okay, now if you count, you should have 14 stitches if you started with 15. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. What we're going to do now is to chain one. You can tighten that chain a little bit and turn around. So turn your work, still turning clockwise. And we're going to skip that chain one. For row 3, we're going to skip that chain one and single crochet on the back loop only across back down. So we're pretty much going to do the same exact thing that we were doing in the previous round, but instead of going up, we are pretty much going back down. I will do a couple of stitches with you right here. We're going into the back loop only. That's how we are going to make these ribbed effect all throughout. Just like that. Now when you come back down, you can see if you marked it with the stitch marker that it is right at the end. Now this stitch might be hidden a little bit, but you can still access the back loop, which is right there, but you might need to use your finger to sort of dig it through and pull it up. And you're going to remove your stitch marker right here, and you're going to again slip stitch into the next stitch and slip stitch into the stitch after. Try to go through 2 loops for security, and you're going to keep on repeating row 2 and 3 around until all the ribbing is completed. So just like before, we're going to skip the slip stitches and pretty much keep doing what we were doing so far. If you're using the markers, don't forget to mark your first stitch, so it'll be less confusing when you come back around. So just like that, complete all the way around until you come back to here, which is going to be this stitch right here, because that one is the one that's attached to our chain from before. So this is the last stitch that you will have to do the back loop only single crochet. When you come to that, I will show you how to connect both sides, and then we can weave our ends in and finish the project. Okay, so I've gone around and finished all the ribbing. This is how it should look like. You should have the same amount of ribbing as the stitches of each round, and it is quite stretchy as well. Depends on the yarn type. It will be stretchier than others. Now I've slip stitched back to the first stitch that we started with, and now what I'm going to do is close this up and match each stitch and connect it together to close it. But you have to keep in mind, because this is a folded over brim, we need to stitch it on the good side out. So when it's folded, the stitch side folds inside. If you've made a shorter brim that is not going to fold, then you need to turn the hat inside out and do the seaming that way, so it won't be visible to the outside. Now what I'm going to do is, you have to remember that 2 of these stitches are slip stitches, so if it makes things easier, you are welcome to count the stitches from the top, keeping in mind that this one is a stitch as well. Count down 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So that is my 14th stitch right here, and I'm going to put my stitch marker right there, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So that is my 14th stitch right here. Now that we know where we're starting, I'm just gonna remove this stitch marker, put my crochet hook through the back loop, the back loop right here, just like that. We're gonna go through the back loop of this side, and we're gonna go through both loops on the other side. So we're just gonna adjust. We're going to pull this loop back through both and slip stitch that in place, so it's not gonna move, and we're gonna continue to make slip stitches just like that. Then I'm going to the next one and find the back loop and go to the parallel stitch on the other side and grab a loop, pull it up, sometimes it gets caught up in the other loop, so just be careful and pull it through. And we'll do another one together, back through the back loop and through both loops on this side. Pull up a loop and pull through. Go ahead and connect all of the stitches that way, and then we will meet up at the end to see how we can weave in the ends. Okay, so I've gone through my last stitches now, and what I'm going to, and this is how the seam looks like. It is not that noticeable, but you can use a darning needle and whip stitch if you don't like to do it this way, but yeah, I like to do it this way since I already have the crochet hook in my hand. Now to end things, we're going to chain one and tighten it down and pull up a long loop, and we're going to fasten off just like that, and we will be using a darning needle to weave in the ends, and I will show you how to do one. We should only have a couple, so turn it inside out. So this is the first one we have, the one from the magic loop. What you can do is put your thread through, not your thread, put your yarn through, and just find out where the thread is coming from. So it's coming from this way, so we're going to take it on the same side, so it's going clockwise, and we're just gonna take it clockwise as well for a couple of stitches to keep it secured. And then we are just going to come back on itself and go the other way. For a little bit longer to keep it connected. Just like that. And then I'm just going to bring it down on a different direction so it has a lesser chance of unraveling. Just like that. And then you can use it to take it back up and we can snip it off. And these ones I would pretty much just go through down, up and down 3 times. That is usually the golden rule to weaving the ends. But go through the same color just in case it'll show through the other side if you use a different color. So make sure to go through the same color of yarn. That way you're not risking it from showing up on the other side with a different color. I usually just like to weave in as much ends as possible during the actual crocheting portion of the item. That way I have minimal ends to weave at the end of the project, because usually by the end of the project I'm in a rush to start a new project. So I would like to finish as much as I can beforehand. So I'm going to do the same with this one as well. So we're going to go down once. And then I'm gonna come back up through this way since we can, because it's all pink yarn over there. Just like this. And I'm gonna go through this lot, few stitches down this way. And then you can fasten that off as well. And you are pretty much done with your hat. Turn it inside out and fold the brim. Just like that. That is the finished product. And I will just show you the sample that I made. This is the largest size, which is the adult large size, and this is the newborn to 6 month size, and I think they're quite beautiful. So you can purchase my PDF pattern on my website or on my Etsy. I will provide the links down below, and I will have the newborn size written up on my blog as well, but some people like to purchase the PDF just because there's ads and stuff on the blog. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe and share the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.